Nancy and Anna Guthrie were more than just mother and daughter. They were each other's closest confidants, living a quiet life bound by trust, routine, and unspoken understanding. Their relationship reflected years of shared memories, resilience, and unconditional love. Friends often described them as inseparable, two hearts moving through life in quiet harmony. But what happens when that harmony is suddenly broken? When Nancy vanished without warning, Anna's world was turned upside down. No note, no clear trace, just questions hanging heavily in the air. How could someone so rooted in family simply disappear? Was it a random act, a planned escape, or something far more disturbing? In this video, we will unravel the timeline, examine the unanswered questions, and explore the emotional toll this disappearance has taken. Stay with us as we dive deeper into the mystery behind Nancy's sudden disappearance and the truth that may be waiting in the shadows. By mid-February 2026, the search entered a critical phase. On February 14th, during a brief press conference in Tucson, Arizona, the Guthrie family announced a dramatic increase in the reward fund. Standing beside community leaders, Anna Guthrie confirmed that the family was raising the offer to $1 million for any verified information leading to Nancy's safe location. The Federal Bureau of Investigation added $100,000 along with contributions from other sources, bringing the total reward to more than $1.2 million. Investigators revealed that new tips had surfaced following a review of neighborhood surveillance near the family's residence in northern Tucson. Authorities carefully noted previously overlooked details, including unusual vehicle movement captured late in the evening prior to Nancy's disappearance. Law enforcement emphasized that all information would be handled confidentially and urged the public to focus only on confirmed updates. Family representatives described the reward not as a gesture of alarm, but as a renewed call for awareness, compassion, and cooperation from the wider Arizona community. As the reward announcement intensified public attention, federal authorities began releasing carefully selected investigative details. On February 18th, 2026, the FBI's Phoenix Field Office shared still images extracted from a residential doorbell camera installed at the Guthrie home in northern Tucson. The footage, timestamped 2:17 a.m. on February 1st, 2026, shows an unidentified individual approaching the front entrance. The person appears to be wearing a dark hooded jacket, gloves, and a face covering. Officials confirmed the individual was carrying what appeared to be a weapon, though they declined to specify its type, citing the integrity of the ongoing investigation. According to investigators, the footage was enhanced at a federal forensic lab before being released to the public. Subtle movements, a pause near the driveway, a glance toward the street, have drawn particular attention. Authorities believe the individual demonstrated familiarity with the property's layout, suggesting prior observation. Newly reviewed surveillance from nearby intersections along North Swan Road and East Sunrise Drive revealed a vehicle repeatedly passing through the area in the days leading up to February 1st. Traffic camera data indicates similar timing patterns between January 28th and January 31st, all occurring during late-night hours. While officials have not publicly linked the vehicle to the masked figure, they confirmed that analysts are examining potential connections. Neighbors have also come forward with details that, at the time, seemed insignificant. A slow-moving car idling without headlights, an unfamiliar silhouette walking along the sidewalk shortly before dawn. Law enforcement emphasized that these accounts are being treated as leads, not conclusions. Authorities continue to urge the public to avoid speculation and allow trained investigators to follow the evidence methodically. Behind the scenes, behavioral specialists have joined the case, reviewing the suspect's body language and movement patterns captured on video. Officials noted that even the smallest gestures, posture, pacing, hesitation may offer insight into intent or planning. As forensic teams continued to analyze the surveillance footage, attention shifted to physical evidence recovered at the scene. According to investigators, officers from the Tucson Police Department secured the perimeter of the Guthrie residence in the early hours of February 1st, shortly after Nancy was reported missing. By mid-morning, crime scene technicians were conducting a meticulous grid search across the front yard, driveway, and adjacent sidewalk. During that sweep, a single glove was discovered near a patch of desert landscaping just beyond the property line. Authorities confirmed the item did not belong to Nancy or any immediate family member. The glove was carefully collected, sealed, and transported to a regional forensic laboratory for DNA analysis. Officials later disclosed that viable genetic material was extracted from the interior lining. In a briefing held on February 22nd, investigators stated that the DNA profile had been entered into the FBI's combined DNA index system, CODIS. As of that date, no direct match had been identified within federal databases. Law enforcement emphasized that the absence of a match does not eliminate the possibility of future identification, noting that new profiles are added to the system regularly. Additional forensic work focused on trace evidence. Specialists examined soil disturbances near the walkway and faint impressions along the gravel edge of the driveway. While no complete footwear pattern was recovered, technicians documented partial impressions that suggest movement toward the street rather than deeper into the property. Detectives are also reviewing fiber samples collected from the glove to determine possible manufacturer origin and retail distribution patterns within Arizona. Investigators have approached the evidence cautiously, reiterating that each element, from the glove's placement to microscopic debris attached to it, forms part of a larger evidentiary puzzle. Authorities continue coordinating between Tucson and federal laboratories, working to establish whether the recovered DNA may eventually connect to emerging leads tied to the broader timeline of events. While forensic analysis continued in Arizona, the investigation took another turn when the Guthrie family began receiving alarming messages. On February 9, 2026, less than 10 days after Nancy's disappearance, a letter demanding approximately $6 million in Bitcoin was delivered electronically to a family representative and later circulated anonymously to several media outlets. The message claimed knowledge of Nancy's whereabouts and included instructions for transferring cryptocurrency within a limited time frame. Federal agents moved quickly. Digital forensics teams traced the origin of at least one communication through a series of encrypted accounts and temporary IP addresses. By February 20th, authorities confirmed that one of the ransom messages had been determined to be fraudulent. According to court documents filed in the Central District of California, a 42-year-old man was taken into custody in Riverside County on charges related to extortion and transmitting interstate threats. Investigators emphasized that the suspect had no verified connection to Nancy's disappearance. Officials described the message as an opportunistic attempt to exploit public fear surrounding the high-profile case. Law enforcement sources noted inconsistencies in the wording of the demand, including references to details that had already been publicly released, a sign that the author may have relied solely on media coverage rather than inside knowledge. The arrest brought a brief measure of clarity, yet it also complicated the emotional landscape for the family. Authorities reiterated that all communications continue to be carefully screened, with cybersecurity specialists monitoring incoming data for authenticity. Each message is evaluated against established timelines, known evidence, and behavioral indicators before being considered credible. Behind the scenes, federal agents continue analyzing metadata, transaction patterns, and blockchain tracing reports to ensure no legitimate lead is overlooked, even as they work to separate misinformation from meaningful evidence. As investigators work to filter credible evidence from false leads, officials provided a clearer picture of the case's direction. In a press briefing held in late February 2026 at the Pima County Sheriff's Department headquarters in Tucson, Sheriff Chris Nanos confirmed that all immediate family members and close relatives of the Guthrie family had been formally excluded as suspects. Authorities stated that each individual had cooperated fully, participating in interviews and voluntarily providing information to assist investigators. Sheriff Nanos emphasized that the decision was based on verified timelines, digital records, and corroborated witness accounts. Phone data, location history, and financial activity were reviewed as part of standard procedure. Officials noted that nothing in those findings indicated internal involvement. This development allowed investigative resources to shift entirely toward external leads. Law enforcement sources now describe the case as a targeted abduction, citing specific indicators gathered at the scene. Detectives reference structured movement patterns, the timing of entry during early morning hours, and the absence of forced disarray inside the residence. These factors, authorities say, suggest planning rather than randomness. Behind the scenes, coordination has expanded beyond Arizona. Federal agencies are cross-referencing similar case patterns across state lines, reviewing databases for comparable entry methods and behavioral markers. Analysts are also mapping geographic data points tied to previous suspicious vehicle sightings in northern Tucson during the final week of January. Investigators continue conducting follow-up interviews with residents in surrounding neighborhoods, revisiting earlier statements in light of newly processed evidence. Authorities stress that the case remains active and evolving, with multiple task forces working simultaneously to connect forensic findings, digital intelligence, and field reports into a unified investigative framework. In moments like this, beyond every headline and investigative detail, there is a family living through uncertainty no one ever wishes to face. Nancy is not just a name in a report. She is a mother, a neighbor, a presence deeply woven into the lives around her. Anna and her loved ones continue to endure each day with strength, hope, and quiet resilience. As a community, compassion matters. A kind word, a shared update from verified sources, or simply choosing empathy over speculation can make a meaningful difference. Let us stand together in support of Nancy's family, offering patience, understanding, and respect while authorities continue their work. If you believe in spreading awareness responsibly, please consider liking, sharing, and subscribing to the channel. Your support helps keep accurate information visible and encourages thoughtful dialogue during difficult times. Most importantly, let us send our heartfelt wishes of comfort and strength to the Guthrie family and to the Tucson community, reminding them that they are not facing this alone.